Hi, my name's Sam Moser. I'm going to walk you through how to install laminate onto plywood. Laminate is a really great option for cabinetry if you want an alternative to paint that's durable and easy to clean. Here is a cabinet I just finished using laminate installed over plywood. Let's jump right into the how-to. Laminate is a durable composite material made from paper and resin that is commonly used to cover cabinets, countertops, and furniture. Formica and Wilsonart are the two main manufacturers of cabinet-grade laminates. It's sold in large sheets and is generally rolled up for shipping. Standard grade laminate is usually around 1 millimeter thick. Before gluing the laminate onto the plywood pieces, it needs to be cut to size. Each piece of the laminate should be cut slightly larger than the surface you want to cover. Aim for a 1/2 inch to 1 inch overhang on each side. You can cut laminate with a variety of different tools, but I find it easiest to cut with a circular saw. To avoid chipping, use a blade with a higher tooth count. With a circular saw, it's also recommended to cut with the face side down to further reduce the chance of chipping, but here I cut face side up with no problems, but the fine-tooth blade helped with that. Another benefit to cutting the laminate face side down though would be the reduced chance of scratching the surface with the base of the saw. With the pieces cut, we can now get ready to glue them on. Contact cement is the best adhesive for this job. When using contact cement, work in a well-ventilated area and wear appropriate PPE, especially gloves and a respirator. The easiest way to spread the contact cement is with a roller. Here I'm using a 6-inch general-purpose nap paint roller. For applying firm pressure to set the adhesive, a roller is needed. Ideally, this roller shouldn't be more than 3 inches wide. I will list and link all the tools and materials needed in the description below. We can now prepare the contact cement. Open the can and stir the cement thoroughly. To neatly pour the adhesive, I like to make a spout out of masking tape. Apply 2 strips that meet at an angle. Fold the ends under each other to create a point. Apply pressure to the tape over the rim of the can to create a good seal. This masking tape trick makes the adhesive easier to pour, especially if it's a larger can. The trick works well with paint cans too. We can now apply a uniform coat of adhesive to each surface we're going to bond. It doesn't need to go on thick, but an even coat is needed across the entire surface. This piece can be set off to the side while we apply adhesive to the other surfaces. The adhesive goes on both the back of the laminate and the substrate the laminate is getting bonded to. Once the adhesive is applied to my plywood panel, I can now set it off to the side as well. Before we bond the two pieces together, the coated surfaces need to dry for about 15 minutes, so I'll go ahead and apply the adhesive to the rest of my pieces. When the surfaces are ready to be bonded together, they will feel tacky and have a glossy appearance. You can test if the adhesive is dry enough by touching it with a gloved finger. The adhesive should feel tacky, but not transfer to your glove. The surfaces can sit for up to 2 hours before you stick them together, but if you leave it longer than that, you need to reapply the adhesive. If doing a large number of pieces, I usually work in batches, but here I was just doing these 4 doors, so I can go ahead and put the contact cement away. Excess wet adhesive can be wiped away using mineral spirits or acetone. With the adhesive dry, we can now bond the surfaces together. Once the two surfaces touch, the contact cement bonds together and they can't be pulled apart, so you need to be careful with the alignment. I'll show 2 methods for joining the surfaces. The first is to set wooden strips or dowels over the panel and then place the laminate on top of the strips. This works especially well if you have larger pieces that are harder to get lined up correctly. The strips keep the 2 pieces separate so that you can position and adjust the laminate to fully cover the surface. Once aligned where you want it, you can either start from the center or one end and remove 1 wood strip. Press the surfaces together, working outward to avoid trapping air bubbles under the laminate. The strips should be placed every 6 to 12 inches. Remove them one by one, smoothing the laminate out as you go. We now need to apply firm pressure to the entire surface using a roller. Roll across the entire area. Working outward can prevent trapping air bubbles, or if it's a smaller panel like this, just start from one side and work across to the other. Apply extra pressure to the edges. The second method for joining the surfaces together, which works best for small panels, is to align it over the top with your eye, and press it on, starting from one end and working toward the other. Once the surfaces touch, they're stuck together, so make sure the laminate is straight and has relatively even overhangs on each side. This method can be more error-prone than using the dowels to help with alignment, so take caution as you eyeball it. Again, roll the panel in the same way and repeat for all your pieces. The final step is to use a router and flush trim bit to trim the excess laminate from each edge of the panel. The bearings on the bit will guide the router along the edge of the board. The edges can be trimmed and finished immediately after the surfaces are bonded. Work the router along each edge of the panel. I repeated this for each of my pieces. I find the router leaves a pretty clean edge, but sometimes there can be a little bit of contact adhesive residue left on the edge of the board, so I use a sander to finish up the edges after the router. And that's it. The laminated panels are good to go. If you want to cover the edge grain of your panels, you can apply edge banding that matches your laminate. Or, if you like the look, just leave the edge grain exposed. Alright, that's it for this one. Thanks for watching. Bye.